Welcome to the International Volleyball Academy. In the last episode, we learned how to fall and stopped being afraid of the ground. In today's episode, we will continue focusing on digging, how not to be afraid of a fast-flying ball, and we will learn digging techniques both from the perspective of footwork similar for techniques of bump pass for serve reception.
First, let's review what we have already learned. Using gymnastics elements, we eliminated the fear of falling to the ground and mastered techniques to ensure that ground contact does not hurt. This mainly involved the side roll, which is the most commonly used element in both boys and girls games. Of course, it wasn't just about the falling technique, but primarily about digging the ball during falls. For the boys, in particular, we practiced dive save.
This is a classic element of the traditional volleyball school, but today it is being replaced by other methods of falling forward. Nevertheless, we want you to be familiar with the dive save.
However, digging in defense is not just about falling techniques. Players must primarily dig hard attacks from the opponent. Our children are already equipped with various digging techniques, which essentially do not differ from a serve reception. From free balls to digging beside the body, to trunk rotation in situations where the ball flies to the chest or head area, and finally to digging during falls.
The goal of the following exercises is to gradually eliminate children's fear of a fast-flying ball. Essentially, we are guiding the children to behave like goalkeepers in handball or soccer. We start with an overball to initially get the children used to the new situation. The libero of the Czech national team will try this with us.
And now we need to move on to real situations with a volleyball. In these exercises, the children should prepare to defend not only the space where they are standing, but also the space beside them, in front of them, and behind them. In short, the action radius of a player on the court is 1.5 meters around them in all directions, just like in a game. It is important for the children to understand the difference between serve reception, where the goal is to get the ball to a specific spot, and digging a hard attack, where the goal is to defend the space and keep the ball in play in any way possible. Let's see how a master handles these situations. You can see that they control the space around and in front of them. As with most volleyball actions, we notice that the familiar split step precedes the action.
In the previous episodes, we taught the children all the digging techniques, but we also need to add the overhead technique for receiving and digging. Unlike the set, where contact with the ball is made only with the fingers, the ball is allowed to drop more into the palm. We start the practice with simple catching of the ball. We then progress to catching and subsequently throwing the ball upwards. We gradually shorten the catching contact, resulting in the ball being controlled in the palm and then hit back. The aim is for the contact with the ball to occur in front of the body to allow for better control of the ball.
Next come exercises where the ball is already flying over the net, which is useful for practicing serve reception, as well as for transitioning to the overhead digging technique for defending against the opponent's attack. Then we move on to practicing the overhead technique against a real attack from the opponent. Here we can see that both the body position and the stance, with feet wider than shoulder width, are similar to those used in digging. The principle we've already mentioned also applies here. The footwork precedes all other movements.
And now we will apply everything we have learned so far. Boys use this technique more often, but the differences are narrowing, and we are working to incorporate it into girls' volleyball as well. For comparison, Let's see examples from top-level volleyball in various situations, from easy deflected balls to digging against hard attacks. Due to the power of the hits, there is often not enough time to position the hands as we have shown, and digging becomes an instinctive raising of the arms with the position of the palms and fingers varying. The goal is simply to keep the ball in play by any means possible. We will discuss the various ways to handle these situations in one of the upcoming episodes.
We reviewed the basics of diving technique as a prerequisite for digging, gymnastic elements, side roll, dive save, and reminded ourselves that we will use similar bump techniques for digging as we do for serve reception. We explained that the behavior of players on the field is similar to that of a goalkeeper in handball or football. We mentioned that a player is not only responsible for balls that come directly at them, but their action radius is about 1.5 meters in all directions. Overcome fear of fast-moving balls. Defend the area around you. Goalkeeper behavior. We learned the overhead technique for handling spiked balls. We started with catching and, through throwing the caught balls, moved on to the desired handling technique. We noted that this technique would be used both for serve reception and for digging in the field.
In the next episode, we will clarify body position when digging hard spiked balls. We will explain how timing works in comparison to serve reception, revisit digging during falls, and conclude with a comprehensive repertoire that includes both digging hard spikes and off-speed shots. We will demonstrate the correct starting position and body posture for digging. You will learn how to use a split step to get dynamism for all subsequent actions, whether using the bump or the overhead technique. The player never knows in advance whether they will need to defend the area in front. You will also learn so-called pancake as a widely used element of the falling technique. See you soon.